All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are talking about what is arguably the most important competition happening in the world right now, the crazy, high-stakes race to build artificial general intelligence, or AGI. Now, this isn't your typical global race. We're not talking about a land grab or an arms race, at least not in the traditional sense. This is a battle over algorithms, over data, over a technology that could literally redefine what it means to be human. And the scale of this thing, it's almost hard to wrap your head around. This year alone, corporations have funneled about $1.5 trillion into AI. To put that in perspective, that's roughly 5% of the entire US economy in 1 year. And that brings us to the real heart of the matter, doesn't it? The winner of this race gets a technology that could, cure diseases, solve climate change, all our biggest problems. Or it could create our very last one. So, yeah, the stakes are pretty high. Let's break this down. Okay, first up, you gotta follow the money. This whole AGI race is being bankrolled by a truly historic amount of cash. And it's all driven by this wild mix of incredible ambition and, frankly, pure corporate fear. So that $1.5 trillion figure we just talked about, well, get this, it's expected to more than double by 2029. And what's really pushing this surge isn't just optimism. It's a massive case of corporate FOMO, the fear of being the one company that gets left in the dust. This quote from an executive really says it all, doesn't it? There's this pervasive belief that AGI is a winner-take-all game, that the rewards are going to be concentrated among just a few players. So for these companies, sitting on the sidelines, that's just not an option. And this rivalry we're seeing between companies, it's playing out on the global stage too. It's basically shaping up to be a geopolitical showdown for who's going to dominate the 21st century. And right now, the two main players are, you guessed it, the United States and China. So when you look at how they stack up, it gets really interesting. Each side has some serious advantages. The US is just crushing it in private investment. We're talking nearly 12 times what China spends, and it's still the place to be for the world's top AI talent. But, and this is a big but, China's state-run approach means they can move incredibly fast and stay coordinated. And here's the kicker. While the US is building more AI models, China is closing the gap on quality at a truly breathtaking speed. So this race is way, way tighter than those investment numbers might make you think. Okay, so that's the corporate and the geopolitical side of things. But what does all this mean for, actual people and their jobs? Because the way AI is being used at work is going through this massive fundamental change right now. So for the last few years, it's all been about something called additive AI. The idea here was that AI is a tool. It's like a super smart assistant that helps you, a human worker, do your job faster and better. But that's changing. We are now entering the era of subtractive AI. And here, AI isn't just a tool anymore. It's being brought in as a digital workforce, designed from the ground up to completely remove layers of human jobs from a company. This side-by-side really spells it out. We're seeing this huge strategic shift. It's no longer about simply making your teams better. It's about totally redesigning your company around AI. The goal is shifting from making people more productive to just replacing them. And let's be clear, this is not a someday thing. It is happening right now. The banking giant HSBC is looking at cutting up to 20,000 jobs. You've got big names in tech and finance, IBM, Amazon, Salesforce, all talking openly about using AI to get leaner. The human cost of this is becoming real, fast. Now, while this race is hitting ludicrous speed, something pretty disturbing is happening. The very people building this stuff, the brilliant researchers inside the most advanced AI labs, they're starting to hit the panic button. There's this wave of top-tier researchers who are doing what people are calling loud quitting. They are walking away from huge salaries and publicly warning that the companies they just left are putting profit and speed way ahead of safety. I mean, listen to Zoe Hitzig, who just left OpenAI. She's warning that AI has the potential for manipulating users in ways we don't have the tools to understand, let alone prevent. Just let that sink in. The people building it are telling us we can't actually control its power to manipulate us. And the warnings, they get even more intense. Steven Adler, another guy who just left OpenAI, put it even more bluntly. He says there are people working inside these companies who earnestly believe there is a chance their company will contribute to the end of the world. I mean, wow, that's not some blogger saying that. That's the feeling inside the building.
And maybe the most chilling warning of all comes from Mritranath Sharma. This was the guy in charge of safety research at Anthropic, one of the top labs. When he resigned, he just said 4 words: "The world is in peril." And these resignations, they aren't happening in a vacuum. They're lining up with some really troubling decisions by the companies themselves. For example, OpenAI just got rid of its mission alignment team. The team whose entire job was to make sure AGI would benefit humanity. It really feels like as the race speeds up, safety is just getting pushed to the side. So, because of all these alarms going off, a global movement is finally starting to take shape. People are trying to establish some ground rules, to draw some red lines before this all gets away from us. Yoshua Bengio, who is literally one of the godfathers of AI, has this fantastic quote that just perfectly captures where we are right now. He says, "A sandwich has more regulation than AI." And he's right. We have more rules for what goes into our lunch than for a technology that could alter our entire civilization. But thankfully, that's starting to change. If you look at this timeline, you can see how the conversation has escalated. In 2023, we got that big warning about extinction risk. In 2025, there's a global call for actual red lines. And now, in 2026, we're finally seeing major laws like the EU's AI Act actually come into effect. So the push for some kind of real governance is definitely gaining steam. More and more people are realizing that you can't just leave a technology this powerful in the hands of a few unelected tech executives. Which really leaves us with the biggest question of all. In this trillion-dollar race, with everything on the line, who actually gets to decide the future of intelligence itself?